Another day, another banger. Today, we'll be going over the Jason Statham special titled Crank and Crank High Voltage. This action-packed thriller will not disappoint you, and make sure not to blink because these movies go fast. Without further ado, make sure to sit back, relax, and as always enjoy the recap. Crank opens up from the main character's POV, which is my absolute favorite. He stumbles quite a bit and seems to be under the influence of who knows what. Walking around the room, he finds a CD and plays it to see Ricky, a fellow hitman, laughing at him. The video shows the hitman poisoning Chev in his sleep, making sure to humiliate him and record him. Ricky explains the poison he just induced gives the bearer 1 hour maximum to live, and this is retribution for killing Kim. Pissed off, Chev breaks the TV and anything next to it. Knowing he has 1 hour to live at the best, he sprints out of his apartment and into his car. Ignoring everyone around him, he drives his 1971 Buick Riviera out of the lot and into the street. His heartbeat becomes quite ecstatic, and knowing he is about to die, he calls up his girl named Eve, but she doesn't answer. He then calls his doctor, and the receptionist answers and has no idea where her boss is, but we get to see he's having an awesome time. Leaving his name down for when the doctor comes in, Chev's vision becomes blurry, and his heart slows down, but he cranks the accelerator to keep his adrenaline up. Calling up Kalo, his street informant, Chev wants him to put the word out to find Ricky. Our man then heads to Orlando's hood and looks like he's coked up. He goes inside and grabs the club's owner, Orlando, and takes him to the bathroom. He wants to know where Ricky is, but Orlando has no idea where the man is. Just then, Orlando's crew come in and all hold weapons on Chev.
The white man is cool. Hey, y'all like them Somalian. Discuss this shit in a civilized manner. Where's Verona? Don't try to. Easy. Ricky Verona. Ricky Verona still owes me $7,500. How can I help you?
Just give me some coke, okay?
What you think every brother's carrying? Is that it? You saying this is medicinal use coke? Is that what you're saying?
That's right.
That's enough. Whoa. Oh!
This one bleeds.
Once he's out, Ricky gives Chev a call and is surprised he is still alive. Promising to look after Chev's girl when he is buried, Chev tells Ricky that once his boss Carlito knows Ricky was behind the killing, he will join Chev in the ground. Just then, the cops get behind Chev and demand him to pull over. Ending the call in Ricky's face, Dr. Miles finally calls back and Chev explains his situation and the poison he was induced with. While on the phone, Chev makes his way through a freaking shopping center, and the doctor explains adrenaline is the only thing keeping him alive. Knowing the poison to be Chinese and the only way to slow it down is to constantly keep adrenaline up, hence, if he stops he dies. Crashing his car and setting out on foot, he needs to keep moving and keep the blood pumping. Needing a ride, Chev jumps into a taxi and tells the man to drive. Immediately though, his heart begins slowing down and he tells the driver to crank the music to full blast. Dancing along, his heart starts pumping again, and he tells the cab to stop a second. Entering a store, he puts the worker on the ground and starts stealing energy drinks and honestly anything that'll keep his adrenaline up. Getting back into the cab, his next destination is none other than Carlito's penthouse. At the penthouse, Carlito is surrounded by women when he goes for a swim. Chev joins him in the pool and is surprised to know that Carlito knows the whole situation already. To Chev's dismay, Carlito explains the shit they gave him has no antidote and is surprised his friend is still alive. It would also appear that Carlito is happy with this outcome as killing Kim brought too much heat, and Chev is receiving the blame for it. Not too happy that his friend has practically turned his back on him, Chev gets out of the pool and leaves, wanting revenge before his time of death comes. The cab driver refuses to let a soaking wet Chev into his car, and so he is tossed away. Chev then receives a call from the doctor who tells him there may be a chance to override the poison by pushing his body through an absurd amount of adrenaline, and the only way to do that is to take an adrenaline shot. Just then, Chev gets a call from his informant who tells him that Ricky's brother just entered a diner, and Chev makes his way there.
Is he in there now? Where's your brother? Wanna hold hands?
Searching the corpse, Chev grabs the man's phone and calls his brother. Once Ricky answers, he loses his temper at the fact that his brother is a dead man. Ripping the corpse's necklace off, Chev mocks Ricky, who is regretting his method of poison instead of just killing his target. Once the call ends, Chev goes straight to the hospital and asks the pharmacist if he can get some epinephrine. The lady tells him no, but a random tells him to use a nasal spray which has epinephrine in it. Ripping like 10 of them, he begins using them until the cops take notice and start looking for him.
Room's clear.
I know you motherfuckers have epinephrine. Tell me you got epinephrine in this fucking car.
I understand English. I just don't know which one it is. I have it. Give me a second here. I'm gonna go to clear.
Stimulation of your blood vessels. That shit'll be out of your system in 30 minutes, but doesn't kill you first. I'll call you when we land.
And they say is still at large on hundreds of thousands of dollars of property damage with ties to organized crime. And then it's...
So what you're saying, Mark, is that next to
You up, Biggie? I can't.
Getting up from his crash, his phone rings and Eve finally answers. Telling her that a psychopath is heading to her place, she doesn't take the threat quite seriously, and Chev goes to her house. Ricky in the meantime is shown the remains of his brother and he wants to murder Chev on the spot. Once at Eve's apartment, Chev greets his woman and tells her they need to leave. She thinks it's a joke no matter how much Chev insists. Upon walking to the microwave though, he gets very dizzy as the adrenaline starts wearing off. To wake himself up, he decides to use a toaster on his hand and Eve trips out on him. The thugs simultaneously arrive at the scene and Chev quietly goes outside and knocks out one intruder. Not planning to panic his beloved, he drops her items from her bag and neutralizes the second hitman.
Can I have some help here? Where's your car?
Oh, actually, I took a cab.
The duo decide to head to a relatively crowded destination and choose Chinatown. Once he's sitting down with Eve, Chev confesses he lied about being a video game developer and is actually a professional hitman who freelances for a major West Coast crime syndicate, and last night was no exception. With the triads moving in on local drug cartels, Chev was sent to kill their #1 man named Kim. However, he decided not to pull the trigger. Instead, he tells Kim that he has a target on him and will eventually be killed, but Chev would rather Kim just disappear as long as he is invisible within 48 hours. Telling Eve he quit his line of work for her, she storms out on him, not believing a word he's saying. Just then, his heart starts slowing down and he needs to get his adrenaline and blood pumping again. Right then and there, Eve helps him out in front of a shit ton of people. You'd think they'd be a bit hesitant to watch, but it is Jason Statham, and I'd watch as well. In the middle of the session, Chev gets a call from Kalo who says he found Ricky. Chev gets another cab and heads to the location when the driver thinks our boy is a crackhead. He takes out a bottle of who knows what and hands it to Chev, who sculls it down. Everything around him starts going in slow motion, and this is where shit kicks off.
Have a nice day, Deva.
And where's he going?
I'm doing my job. Hey, whoa, savvy.
You working for the Chinese now? Time's up.
What you been dig? What you been dig?
Yeah. What the fuck is this?
Verona's got nothing to do with this. Don Carlos wants you off the streets. You're all over TV.
You're telling me Carlito wanted this?
Don't worry about Verona. We'll take care of him. We all gotta die sometime, right?
Saul just died.
What the f...
Him like that. My boyfriend kills people. You weren't lying.
Welcome to my life.
That you would give it all up for me.
What are you doing?
This will get you going. Like...
Once the ordeal is over, Chev and Eve drive around and stop by a hardware store. Chev goes inside, barely able to walk, and heads to the nail section. Eve follows him inside to see Chev trying to wake his leg up. The doctor finally calls Chev and tells him to come to the office now. Once he gets there, the women sit and wait while the men attempt to fix Chev, patching up his leg and whatnot. The doctor is trying to fight the poison but tells Chev he will eventually go into a coma and die at some point. Asking if he'd like to pass away in a peaceful way, Chev refuses the offer and asks for 1 hour. Ricky in the meantime watches the TV and how Chev has made the streets more chaotic than ever. Chev gives Ricky a call and asks if he wants to make a deal. Ricky's dead brother's necklace for the cure. Ricky agrees and they make arrangements for a meeting point. Once the call ends, Ricky calls up someone else and now it's time for the great finale. Eve is lied to and told that there is an antidote, but I suspect Chev isn't really looking for one. Having a mobile adrenaline machine pumping him up, he goes to meet at the rooftop of a hotel. Once in the elevator, however, Chev starts bugging out.
Fucking just say something.
I'm amazed you remember you have a mother.
Yeah, with you popping Valium like Tic Tacs.
You got no time, period.
I'm the Terminator. Line junkie. Addicted to violence. Would you rehearse this? Slow ticking clock. Winding down. Yeah, you know you're gonna die up there.
Being escorted to the final boss without any weapons, it would appear that Ricky is teaming up with Carlito, who removes Chev's adrenaline shot. Chev knows he needs to spice things up a little, and calls Ricky a good little boy and a good little puppy. When Ricky loses it, Carlito shuts him up and tells Chev this isn't personal. Chev starts tripping out hard and loses his grip from reality. Just when all seems lost, Kim returns to pay Chev's kindness, and a shootout kicks off. Within minutes, SWAT is called on the site, and the madman who we know as Chev is said to be the key instigator. With bullets flying around like crazy, Carlito asks for a rescue and even sacrifices one of his men to help him escape. Chev is starting to really crash out of reality and wants his revenge before he dies. Ricky runs for his useless life and Chev hunts him down like the stray dog he is. Carlito plans on escaping via a chopper, but when Chev approaches, he is injected with the same poison again from Ricky.
Now you say shit! Move the bitch down! Oh, you fly, motherfucker!
Can you leave a message?
Hey, doll. Looks like I'll lay you down again. You're the greatest, baby.
Crank High Voltage opens up right away, showing Chev smacking a car and onto the pavement. Still alive, a van passes by and the thugs throw Chev in their car and drive away. The media quickly report the incident, and according to 12 eyewitness testimonies, a man fell from the sky and was then removed from the scene. Chev in the meantime is under a surgery table where a couple of surgeons from the Chinese triads operate on him. The idiots begin fighting one another and accidentally drop a pair of scissors inside Chev. They then remove the powerful and beautiful heart of Chev and give him a weird artificial heart. A couple days later, Chev is accidentally awoken from his slumber and he hears the doctors say the boss wants to keep him alive long enough to also take out his other organs. But before they can do anything, Chev gets out of his chair and kills the lunatics on the spot. Realizing that they took out his heart and put an artificial one inside, Chev grabs some clothes and walks into the sunlight. Knowing he is currently hooked to a machine, he calls Eve and she doesn't answer once again.
You lost?
What do you work for?
Fuck you, Chelios.
Who's got more fucking strawberry tarts?
Johnny Victor! Cypress Social Club!
Needing help once again, Chev calls his doctor, who is in shock that Chev is still alive. Explaining the artificial heart, the doctor tells him to not do anything strenuous, and that the heart has an internal battery once the external one dies. Once the internal battery turns on, the user has 1 hour, and it charges wirelessly through 2 coils, one internally and one externally. All Chev understands is that he needs to keep his body constantly charged.
For social clubbers, do ya?
Don't you tempt me, fuck up.
Damn, dog. You good, is it?
go down Orange for like 2 miles and then you're there, Holmes.
Just man. ¿Dónde está la social club? This is a fucking social club? You Johnny Vang?
Get lost, bitch.
You ain't tapping my head.
Thanks.
No, we're Johnny Vango.
Johnny Vang?
Yes.
Where?
Knowing that Johnny Vang has his heart, Chev follows the crazy bitch named Rhea around town to a club. There, Johnny is caught up by Chico, a Mexican gang leader who wants Chev's heart and body. Once the torture begins, Johnny tells Chico that they can make a deal. Chev then enters the club when he realizes that Eve works there. Going on the stage and stopping her performance, the manager says to get his hands off Lemon, and Randy is tossed away. As the duo go to leave, Chico comes out and boom. Gunshots are fired, people are running, and before you know it, Chico runs out the back as Chev finishes off the thugs. Finding a member still alive, Chev learns that his boss wants him alive so they can watch him die, whatever the hell that means. Leaving the building with Eve, the cops get there and the fighting must go on. His heart starts giving out though, and the cops arrest Eve and make the mistake of using a taser on Chev, who gets up and returns the favor to the cops around him. Once he's done, he hijacks the cop car with Eve and a random inside. Making sure he is awake and ready, the random inside tells Chev that she knows where Johnny Vang is, the horse track. Bugging out again, Chev calls his doctor for some more insight. The doctor tells his friend he was once a heart surgeon and that if he keeps electrocuting himself, it should temporarily charge the battery. The only way to restore Chev is to get his heart back.
Chinese. Hey, Chocolate, did you get off your fat ass and get dressed? Think I know who we're dealing with.
While on their way to the Hollywood racetrack, the trio comes across a group of protesters. It's not clear why this scene takes place, but the protesters seem to be unpaid workers demanding fair pay for their services. Moving along, one of the women presses her chest against the windshield of a police car, but that moment quickly passes. As Chev heads toward the racetrack, he runs into Venus, the brother of his late partner Kalo. Venus steps in to help Chev escape from the police, giving him a ride on his motorcycle. During the ride, Venus explains that he suffers from a condition called full-body Tourette's, while Chev reveals that Chico was involved in Kalo's death and urges Venus to join his fight. Unfortunately, Venus loses control of the motorcycle because of his condition, causing both men to crash on the side of the road. Later at the racetrack, Chev's energy starts to drain once again. Desperate, he calls Doc Miles, who tells him that friction, specifically skin contact, can generate static electricity, which will help recharge his artificial heart's battery.
What the fuck, man?
Chev! Hey, honey, come on, over here.
Needing human friction, Eve can easily do that, and somehow the two duds end up on the horse track. However, that isn't enough to stop them, and as the horses come, the crowd cheers the duo on. Johnny Vang also celebrates until Chev spots him and immediately starts chasing him. Johnny takes off and calls up his crew to help him escape.
Get in!
Kim soon returns, arriving in a limo to rescue Chev. Inside, he explains that Poon Dong, the powerful leader of the Triads, is in desperate need of a heart transplant. Poon Dong has chosen Chev's heart, believing it to be the strongest since Chev survived the deadly Chinese poison back in the first movie. Kim also reveals El Huron's involvement in the scheme. However, when Chev attempts to leave, Kim admits that his true plan is to hand Chev over to Poon Dong in exchange for a reward. A brutal fight breaks out inside the limo.
Are you alright?
Never better.
Meanwhile, at El Huron's camp, Chico, who somehow survived Chev's brutal attack on his crew, narrates how he narrowly escaped death. El Huron listens with fury, and in a disturbing show of loyalty, Chico ends his tale by cutting off both of his nipples at El Huron's command. Back on the outside, Eve manages to get away from the racetrack and runs into her ex-lover Randy. He urges her to either turn herself in or hide away with him. Eve, unimpressed and unwilling to play along, knocks Randy out when he tries to strike her. Unfortunately, the police quickly apprehend her. Nearby, Venus sees Eve's arrest unfold while he's at a payphone. He makes a desperate call to Orlando, asking for his help in bringing down El Huron. Orlando agrees, and the two arrange a meeting spot. Meanwhile, Chev continues searching for Vang. He sneaks into an ambulance and grabs a new battery pack for his artificial heart. Just then, he spots Johnny Vang on the street. Wasting no time, Chev leaps out of the ambulance, and a wild gunfight and foot chase erupts.
Choice to confront your issues.
Having a really bad day.
Is the first day of the rest of your life.
I'm done with fear.
Where's my box? Fucking combo. This isn't my fucking papa! A sick freak carries something like this around in him. You got some deep problems.
Chev gets on the phone with Doc Miles and learns the doctor's assistant discovered that his heart was transplanted nearly 3 weeks ago into Pundong. As Chev lifts Vang up and jokingly shoots his prisoner, Vang's head is blown open. Chico then emerges and knocks Chev out on the spot. In the next scene, we see a heart beating strongly inside a chest. The chest belongs to Pundong. Overjoyed with his new heart, he even dances to its rhythm and spots dark chocolate along the way, and the two disappear together into a building. Meanwhile, Chev has been thrown into the trunk of a car. While unconscious, he slips into a memory. We see a young Chev with his mother appearing as guests on a talk show. The host and audience examine Chev's troubled childhood, pointing out that he was a difficult child who committed various crimes. The host presses his mother, trying to uncover the reasons behind Chev's behavior. Just as the show heads into a break, Chev snaps back into the present.
Wake up! What are you doing out here?
Trying to kill my boyfriend?
I'm looking for the man that killed my brother.
I go find Jeff Cherios.
Some boyfriend you got there, Miss Lydie.
Meanwhile, Eve is taken in by the police and interrogated about Chev's whereabouts. She doesn't give them what they want, and before long, she makes bail and is released. Over on Catalina Island, Chev is delivered to El Huron, but not before Chico and his men brutally torture him. During this, Chev discovers the truth. El Huron is the brother of Ricky and Alex Verona, both of whom Chev had killed in the past. El Huron, filled with rage, reveals Ricky's severed head preserved inside a fluid-filled container. He explains that the head is being kept artificially alive, not permanently, but just long enough for Ricky to witness El Huron take Chev's life.
Ricardo never wanted my money, Chelios. Technology to keep his brain alive.
Run! Yo, Barry!
This way, sugar.
Confucius said.
Why do we go on like this, Ricky?
In a small end credit scene, the doctor alongside Eve attempt to return Chev's heart back to him. Just as they think he is dead though, our boy opens his eyes. Thanks for watching until the very end as usual. I always appreciate your love and support, and I'll catch you on the next one.